My name is Ken Wills. I'm the president of the Friends of Moss Rock Preserve. We're a group of volunteers that work to make Moss Rock Preserve more accessible while maintaining its natural qualities. I grew up over in the Anniston area near the Talladega National Forest. This ridge and valley country in the Talladegas has a lot of similarities, but we also, it's kind of neat, we got a lot of similarities with the Little River Canyon, Lookout Mountain, the Appalachian Plateau too. So yeah, I've grown up in the upland portion of Alabama around all this stuff. And, I've actually written a book called Exploring Wild Alabama that'll take you all to publicly accessible areas in Alabama, including the swamps and things like that in South Alabama. So I do know my way around. Years ago, I went in here and hiked around into this very area and was impressed with it. There was talk of, putting a road through the edge of it. We expressed some concern, and just coincidentally, my wife and I happened to be looking for a house, and we bought a house on the north side of the park. And there was a city trail plan shortly afterwards that came out, and there were some things on it that might have been a little disruptive. And so, we formed a citizens group and went and talked to the city, and they were receptive. And then we, in good faith, offered to help them build the trail system. And that was a whole lot cheaper than what was originally proposed, and less impact on the land too. So that seemed like that was a good win-win for everybody. Moss Rock Preserve, on the personal side, it's my literal backyard, and but it's a place where you can leave suburbia and get out in the wild without having to drive 10, 15 or more miles. It's literally, you've got it in your neighborhood. You've got green space, wild space right in your neighborhood. And nature preserves like Moss Rock Preserve, we've got a landscapes, largely private land, open for development subdivisions, and those things are needed. But as we develop these communities, put more concrete, asphalt houses, that kind of stuff, keeping parks close to where people at, nature parks, not just mowed grass and trees, but actual wild stuff. I think that's important. In Alabama, in the 1990s, we got our first land acquisition program called Forever Wild that's helped to buy some significant natural areas around the state, because Alabama's, it's largely private, unprotected land, and, the conservation areas have to be purchased and set aside. And so that's been a good thing. We've been making progress. Of course, you have some people who they don't believe in public conservation areas and would sell off our parks and refuges and national forests, and we have to stay diligent to fight that. So you need, in most cases, you have a few organizations like the Nature Conservancy, that private organization sets aside land forever, you hope. But in order to make sure that you got areas conserved for the long term, you're going to need public parks, something to be held in trust by the people at either the local, state, or national level. And you're going to need people to oversee that. So there's always that role. But the main role with the community involvement is to assist that, make dollars go further, cover gaps that tax dollars can't cover. So it's a partnership. City, state, national budgets, there's always going to be a shortfall. Things that involve conservation, outdoor recreation are always going to be lower priorities than other things. And so when volunteers can step in, build trails, maintain trails, remove exotic plants, that makes budgets go a whole lot further. And you get more community involvement and people who care about it. They're not just doing it for a paycheck. You need outings, on Sunday afternoon outings, Saturday outings, where families can get out in nature, where we're not all watching the TV, where we're not, playing video games. And my kids are tempted by that same kind of thing. We sometimes forced them to get out, and they didn't want to get out, but they had a good time once they got out. You get exercise, you get fresh air, you get the relaxation of not being constantly around electronics and the hustle and bustle. I find it amazing. It reminds me of God's many wonders through creation. It relaxes me. It's my element. Sometimes nature can be dangerous, but I feel safer out here than I do sometimes in a busy parking lot at a mall or something. And so the sky, the trees, the flowers, the birds. There's a pileated woodpecker, calling right there. So, it's a lot of entertainment if you're just not, if you're not expecting video games and quick stuff. If you pay attention, there's a lot to entertain in this original creation.